Sup Nerds, welcome to Powerful, the Power Metal podcast. Back again after I don't know how long. It took forever.
It's been fine. You know, powerful podcast arrives precisely when it means to.
Yes.
Which is right now.
Power takes time to charge up.
That's true.
Exactly. And as you can hear, we have an extra voice today here with us because we really can't get enough of having guests on the episodes as much as we can. And we've had him before. If you listen to the show, you probably know who this is. For our guest, please introduce yourself to the audience.
What's up, everybody? This is R.A. Voltaire, also known as Rav, also known as Ravioli, also known as that pasta guy. And tour van. I'm in sunny, beautiful Ottawa, Ontario, Canada right now. This is where the tour stop is, and all the bandmates are loading in gear while I do an interview. Typical fucking singers, right?
It's all about you.
Never help with the load in or load out. Just doing the press. That's the...
So bad. You're so busy. I'm like, no, actually, you guys picked the perfect time to do podcasts.
That's great. So you probably saw the title of this episode. This is once again our little wrap-up after a big festival. Kyle has once again ventured the lands of North America all the way to Madison, Wisconsin for Mad with Power Fest 2023.
Middle of nowhere, Madison, Wisconsin for Mad with Power 6. This is the 6th festival, my 4th time attending it, if I'm counting correctly. So it was the first time that this festival took like a big step up in scale. Previously, it's only been like a few hundred people at the High Noon Saloon, basically just a bar with like a patio. Now it's at like a real venue with like a 1,500 people or something like that at the Sylvie, like a block away in Madison. So it was a big year for the festival to finally be at this larger scale, bigger than Prague Power, as Ty will be very quick to tell you. But I was really curious as how the fest would go this year, just to kind of keep it like the general vibe. Because I've always loved the very communal feel of Mad with Power. We talk about the beer, the cheese, just the good vibes. And okay, like if it's getting so much bigger, several times bigger this year, is it going to be the same? And speaking for myself, and I think most of the guys that we went with, I'd say, yeah, it still felt like Mad with Power in years past, just there were more people. And it's the nerds that you know and love. And if you don't know them, you're gonna know them, you're gonna love them. I had a really great time at the festival this year. Rav, you got to work last year and this year because you apparently don't have enough to do. What was your general impression of the stuff and stepping up this year compared to last year?
I thought it was great, man. I thought every single person, like, you know, when you triple the scale of something, typically people will like panic, or
right.
A lot of things will feel different. People start asking questions to things that they already know, but no, everybody was fantastic and things ran super smoothly. I think it's one thing that everyone knows Ty for is like he's a nice guy, but like he will literally pull the giant plug on the back of the stage if your set goes on too long. So like,
yeah,
amazing vibe. Like that, things were just incredible all around, and it felt very hard. It didn't feel like I was showing up to a new festival. It felt like I was literally at the same thing, just bigger, and it made it better. Like.
For sure.
Experience.
Yeah, I think just having more people, like more space for games, more places to sit down, it all just kind of makes it all actually run smoother, I think, than in previous years, which is amazing. Like you said, when things triple or more in size, it can get nuts.
I also really like this festival has the stream, which is pretty insane to think about. Like even when Mad with Power started these 5-6 years ago, thinking that, you can have an actual real big festival that is not just a couple of bands that got together in a little bar and put a mobile phone on a cell phone on there. That you can have a full thing like this streamed, which allowed me to see all these bands and all the show. And having, of course, Rav there keeping it together between sets and keeping the people engaged and everything. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, so we're covering all the perspectives on this podcast. We got me as like a regular fest-going nerd, got Rav, who was working there, running the stream, and we've got Fernando, who was also just a stream watcher, along for the ride.
Mm-hmm. That's it. Perfect demographic survey.
Perfect. So
awesome.
With that, we can start with the first sets of.
We can start with the day before the first sets, because
right.
just to mention. At Mad with Power. The last couple of years have been at the Aftershock arcade. So imagine just going to a bar with a bunch of arcade games in the back, and it's just full of metal nerds. It's a perfect precursor, if I may be alliterative, to Mad with Power. The arcades are not free play at the arcade, but they are free play at the fest, which is awesome. But it's a really great just welcome back to the fest to just show up and be like, hey, here's beer, here's all my buds that I haven't seen since last year, from across the country or further, and if you've got Rav there challenging people to DDR and handing out merch, always hostile in.
It was funny, but it was basically something I thought like a lot of my Patreon members were going to be attending the festival, so I said, perfect way to like get the whole, we obviously call it the Crow Crew, was like perfect way to get the Crow Crew together and have a good time and all that stuff, and like I can get you your Patreon merch, but also like give you guys an opportunity to have a fun experience with like an artist that you like. So I showed up wearing a karate gi karate outfit and was just like, all right, motherfuckers, challenge me to Dance Dance Revolution. Like if you play at all, you win something, but like if you whoop my ass, like I brought really like the extra nice stuff. We had like Ravenous enamel pins that like I've never sold to anyone, like they were just private stash, Ravenous sunglasses and things like that. So it was a lot of fun, man. And quickly how out of shape and out of breath that I am.
Hey, you did it. You did a lot more DDR than anyone else there, I think. So
I think I played for like 2 hours straight. I think it counts as like running a half marathon.
Yeah, probably. Definitely. Yeah, nothing brings you like gives you that reality check than trying to play DDR again after a long time.
Well, and it's funny because our last live show was the Striker show in November, and like even then I was feeling pretty good, but now it's like, holy shit, man! Like I need to play DDR for like 2 weeks straight if I ever.
Yeah, that's the musician tip that they won't tell you. Play DDR before the festival or before the tour.
So that's all right. Great.
Now we can get to the actual festival.
Now we can get to the part that I saw.
Yes.
Which is the actual festival. Like Rob mentioned, it's amazing that Ty can run this festival on time. I want to say that now. All the bands.
The whole thing ran super on time. I was very impressed.
Incredible. The first band that we had on Friday night was Shield of Wings, who are from Chicago, Illinois. All of the bands are from the US and a bit of Canada. They do some symphonic metal. I'm not the biggest fan of the style, but they had a pretty good set. Honestly,
I always appreciate the like two bands that have the real live keyboards instead of just backing track.
Yeah,
and their keyboardist was also doing like backing harsh and clean vocals too. I thought they put on a good show, good first set. I really liked them whipping out the Elden Ring song for the final battle. That was a hype moment. It's all, if you can cater to the video game nerds in the crowd, you're gonna have a good time here, I think.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, they absolutely crushed it, man. They were great. I had met them at last year's Mad with Power and, was like really excited to see them play. I got to know their music. They're like pretty active as far as like watching the Twitch community. So like on streams, you'll see them pop into your chat and like kind of hang out and participate. But so it was really great to see them perform live. They did a great job. Like what a way to kick off a festival and just get everybody hyped. That's what an opening band at a festival should do.
Right.
They should get everyone stoked and get their blood pumping and get them excited to be there at the festival.
Exactly. Definitely. And then with like, to really get the blood pumping, right after these guys we had Greyhawk, which is like some trad, just regular heavy metal band from we've got Seattle down here for them. And this was a super fun set. Just the music itself, cool stuff. I love the shredding. It's always good to have, I think, like one or two trad bands in there just for good clean fun. But this was the band where we had our wizard pit. Along with the Greyhawk song, Don't Wait for the Wizard. The wizard is you. Yeah. There was a guy dressed in a wizard outfit. He had the hat. He had the staff. We put him in the middle of the circle pit. and it just became a maelstrom of wizards and riffs. And I feel like I was only half focused on the music compared to my normal stuff for this, but I made sure to get into the wizard pit a little bit.
Man, you guys were all so hyped for that wizard pit. Like the whole week before the festival, everyone was like, "Yeah, do you guys have your hats and your things? We're gonna do the best wizard pit." And then you get there, and like,
everyone's too lazy to actually get wizard stuff. Well, yeah, because I was just standing there watching the show, and Andrew's standing next to me, and like a few rows up in front of us, there, I see the guy in the wizard hat, and like I tap Andrew. I'm like, "Dude, there's a wizard!" And so Andrew goes and I guess somehow communicates to him during the loudness of the set, "Hey, when Don't Wait for the Wizard comes on, you should get in the middle of the pit." And of course, this guy agrees because he's going all the way, I guess.
Yeah, that is not a guy that half-asses anything. Like,
No,
if he's full wizard outfit. The only thing is with the staff. Don't you guys know what a wizard staff is? A wizard staff is when you take tall boys a beer, and every time you finish a tall boy, you like duct tape the next one to the last one you drink until you have a full-blown like wizard staff. It doesn't take. It's only like 6 beers. Like that's what we do it as. So it's like, oh, the guy's got a fucking wizard staff at the show, and they just duct tape all the beers that they drink until they have a staff.
That's also a good idea. I need to remember that next time I buy some tall boys.
That's your DIY wizard staff tip from Rav.
That's great.
The actual Greyhawk performance itself was also very good. They incorporate like wizardy props and stuff into their performance. The guy, I think, had like an orb during Don't Wait for the Wizard, with all the ripping and shredding going on.
The singer's actually his name is Rev. So there was a lot of times that we were hanging out together, and they're like, "Hey, Rev." I'm like, "Do you say Rev or Rav?"
And then you throw the Midwest accents in there, and it's you're done. You can't figure that out.
Yeah. Obviously, I've been a big fan of those guys for a while since we played with them at Hyperspace. Mm-hmm. But it was funny watching them on stage because I mean, at this point, the only people that know about Glyph's existence are like me and Ty.
Well, because there's a guy in Greyhawk and Glyph, right?
2 of them actually. The guitar player Rob and the bassist Darren. They're both a part of Glyph.
Did you say Rob? So there's a Rav
and a Rob
and a Rav, and I'm okay.
Rob Rav.
Okay.
So Rob and Darren are both part of Glyph, and obviously we'll talk about that later. But it was funny at the time. We're watching them, and we've never all been in the same room at the same time. So
classic.
It was pretty interesting, and Barbara actually said to me, she goes like, "How does it feel to like see your bandmates on stage?" And then, in typical Rav fashion, it's like, shit, like I already have notes and critiques for these guys. But they were fantastic, man. And they just like, they always bring, like you said, that trad metal fun. Like they bring it. It's always such a good time. And again, like bands doing exactly what they set out to do is just shred, bring the riffs, let everyone have a good time. Everyone had a giant smile on their face. I'm pretty sure they sold out of absolutely everything within like an hour.
They had just the best shirt at the whole festival.
Yeah, they were like, "This is thick. We could just enjoy the rest of the weekend and don't have to do shit because we sold out of all of our merch immediately. Let's just party the rest of the weekend."
Nice. There's an advantage to going early in the fest then, I guess. So next up is a very interesting band on the set list. There was Seeker Pearl. So these were the very, very last minute replacement for A Sound of Thunder. I had been really looking forward to Sound of Thunder. Their guitarist had some really bad back medical issues, so he wasn't able to travel and play, which huge shame. But I guess Ty has just someone in the chamber ready to go at all times because the band just drove from Chicago the day before the fest and was like, "Yep, we're playing." So Secret Pearl was a bit outside the norm of genre for the festival. They were more metalcore style. But man, these guys were great performers.
Yeah.
Like their guitarist was going in on like all the like crazy power slides and spinning around and stuff. Their front woman was also playing an instrument and singing, doing vocals, was really intense. So like I had sat down for a bit after the intensity of Greyhawk saw, and I'm just like, damn, this is a show these guys are putting on for not being part of the fest 2 days ago. I was very impressed.
They absolutely I was actually sitting in Ty's office like before the festival because I'd showed up a little bit early and just started planning some things out with him. Mm-hmm. And then when he got the call from A Sound of Thunder, you see how quickly a guy like that can jump into action to like fill a gap in that sense. And he was immediately on the phone and emails, whatever. And then like an hour later, it's like, "Okay, I got a replacement band. They're coming up. They're awesome," etc. And it was really impressive to see from a, logistics perspective of someone running a festival. Otherwise, it would have been like, "Oh, I guess like the fest just starts later or ends early." They're like, "No, fuck that. Like, you're paying for this many bands, you're getting this many bands." And Secret Pearl was like amazing. I didn't know anything about them because I didn't have time to check it out by the time he made that call. So seeing them live was like blown away. And as a Canadian, I have like a soft spot for three pieces.
I was really, it's interesting to hear because Ty will walk around the fest usually like when someone's playing or between sets, and he might just be talking, he's chilling, and it's always like, "Oh, Ty, thanks for putting on the fest," and he's just like a nice guy. But it's interesting to think, oh, behind the scenes he is probably on it, he's cracking the whip, he is making shit happen. And I'm guessing this is one of the times where it's like, yeah, it's gonna be jumping to action, Ty, not, "Oh, hey, how's it going, Ty?"
I mean, with 6 years experience, like you get to a point that your crew can kind of do a lot of things, and you trust your crew to take care of things and not bug you with every little detail, right? Whereas, I think knowing the guy as a friend, I could see it in his eyes. So every time we'd walk by each other, we'd just like give each other a quick hug or pat on the back and be like, "Hey, we got this, we got this." Like, and again, for what it's worth, like he knew about the extra secret thing that was happening that weekend, so he had to assure me a lot while I'm pretending to be completely normal on stream. Meanwhile, I'm like checking my stage vest pocket every 30 minutes to make sure the ring was still there, kind of thing. So it was a lot, man. It was a lot.
Yeah, I was the best man at a wedding earlier this year, and so I was carrying the rings in my pocket because I was gonna give those out during the ceremony. And just like during the 10 minutes that I had them in my pocket, I'd be like, "Oh god, oh god, oh god, don't lose these." But anyway, enough about me. After Secret Pearl, we had the holy, the blessed, the best part of the fest, the dinner break. I'm so glad Ty started doing this last year, because in previous years there was no time to eat. You had to have a designated dinner band or just eat in 2 minutes with like wolfing down foods with some like pizza or chicken tendies or something, and it just wasn't very fun. Whereas now you got a whole hour and like change, I think, to, you can go across the street, there's a grocery store, there's some restaurants, they serve overpriced pizza at the venue, you can chill, you can play some arcade games. I love the dinner break.
It's honestly pretty good. Like, I haven't even really experienced it being there, but I was hooked to this stream for basically all my Friday evening, and dinner break came and I just went out and bought my dinner here and didn't miss anything.
So it works for the stream people too.
It still works for that, because otherwise I would be like, okay, I'm gonna order food maybe or go cook something, and I'm just not gonna pay attention to this band. But no, it's baked in there. Also, time zones make it so it kind of lines up with my dinner time too. It was pretty convenient, even if it's for the specific case of the
Does the
South
stream
American
itself
watcher
take a break then, or is Rav also doing stuff during the dinner break because he doesn't deserve a break?
But funny enough, it used to be this thing where like we would talk about it in like cases just like become an hour podcast of just me talking at a camera. And I think Ty was kind enough, he like had a dinner break like button, basically like a separate OBS scene. So like when the dinner break hits, you just hit the dinner break button and then you also go take a dinner break. Awesome. And it was he's very thoughtful, man. Like it's kind of crazy, but again, someone running a fest like this, and like don't get me wrong, I'm working, but like I'm volunteering. Like this is just something I choose to do to help a friend, and like I love being a part of it. Like he's built such an awesome community that I really enjoy being there. But even then, it's like, we're talking third band into a fest and I'm already, yelling over the music and running around and being the hype man and all this kind of stuff. Right. It's like, it's a blessing even to me. And my co-host, Dan Wilson, the guy, like he's Spires merch guy, basically. And he was my co-host. And even for us, it was just like, okay, man, like we get an hour, use that time for whatever you can. And, cause we're back at it, and we got to be even more hype when we get back. We can't be like full on chicken tenders or whatever he's called them. And then, just like slugging it. Like we got to be more hyped, because now even like the headlining bands are coming up. So,
right.
Yeah, it's very important. On the stream, it's like, it was a little scene that tells you, hey, the festival is at the dinner break. Go with something, we'll be back at this time. And there's a little animation and some background music. So it's pretty nice. It lets you know that if you tune in at that time, it lets you know, hey, we'll be back at this time. Stick around.
I went back and listened to our 2019 Mad with Power episode yesterday just to like get back in the mindset of how things were in the olden days. And the thing that stood out to me the most about the differences in the festival then and now is back then I was like, oh yeah, I had to miss half of the Lords of the Trident set to go get food because I was dying. Whereas now, not a problem.
The best.
Then after the dinner break, we got Wilderun from Boston.
Some prog metal, but like really, really good prog metal. I really enjoyed their set. We all, I think, were blown away, at least down there on the floor. What's wild about the Wilderun guys, or willed about these guys, if I may, like on stage, like the singer guy, I don't know his name, but he just seems so chill and so humble. But then they just blast out these like incredibly powerful like riffs and like crazy vocals, and it's just wild to see this guy come alive like that. And their other guitarist is quite insane too. We were taking bets on how many songs they would play. Wilderun songs are famously long. They played 4 songs, just like at Prog Power, and I was really stoked about this set.
Dude, yeah, it was incredible. I had a chance to see them a couple times before, so you know, it's not like it's anything new to me, and I was still just as blown away seeing them perform. Like it was insane. Like they're that pro of a band. I had this conversation actually with Basil from Powerglove, and we were sitting backstage kind of talking during the dinner break, and he said that like there's a lot of bands here that have the holy shit factor. I'm used to calling it X factor, but it's the same thing, where like a band where no matter how many times you see them, and whether it's your first time seeing them or whatever it is, as soon as they start playing, you get that, oh, holy shit, like a riff hits you or a drum fill hits you or something hits you, and you're just locked in for the rest of the set because they have that, oh, holy shit moment that kind of reels you in. And I think that was a very poignant thing about the types of bands that get booked in. It's not just like, oh, who will draw the most people. It's like, no, who will make the biggest impact with that holy shit factor.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of bands here who I had never seen before, maybe even never heard of, and I walk away from it being like, damn, that was really good. I gotta check this shit out. And I think that's really what the fest is about. Is like Ty says, it's those up and coming quote unquote opening bands that now get to have that bigger feature, and here we go.
Absolutely.
I think the really special thing about this particular set for me was the last song they played, Vaunting Veins, off their first album called Olden Tales and Deathly Trails. It's kind of a style they've moved away from in their later albums. This is almost more like, this album has some more like folky, like piratey like stuff to it. It's less of like the big brain prog stuff. They hadn't played this song live in like 10 years or something, but having it as the closer for the Mad with Power set was really fun, felt really special. So I'm glad that bands will pull out some of the deep cuts for the special events like this.
I like it too, because this is also where you start getting guest features and things like that, because you know a lot of these bands are friends. So like, oh man, like you're gonna be at the fest, I'm gonna be at the fest, like let's do this song together, or like let's bust this thing out that we haven't done in like 10 years. And it's really cool to see people like get along like that, especially backstage, because you know you can see some bands like planning, because clearly they didn't have a chance to rehearse together. It's like, okay, and then remember at this part, you know, become 7/4. I can imagine that's a lot harder to do with Wilderun, like with a guest feature. It's like, this part's in 9/8, and dude, all this shit. You're like, dude, just just like point at me when it's time for me to come in.
I do love the all the guests cameo spots that happens at a festival like this, because say, oh, everyone's together, let's do it. Speaking of which, Powerglove was up next. Yeah. So, you know, I was wondering, why did it take so long to get like the video game metal band to play the video game and metal festival? I'm guessing, you know, just like money or schedule or whatever. But whatever. Ty finally did it. I was really happy to finally see Powerglove. They've been on my list for quite some time. They put on quite a show of very shreddy video game metal. We got what games did we get? There was Metroid and Tetris and Kirby. Mario was towards the end. They had a Skyrim song we'll talk about. They had a Little Mermaid song for reasons not featuring Mark Hudson, but oh well. Street Fighter was in there. Strangely, no Zelda. That's a shame. No Final Fantasy at the Final Fantasy themed festival. But what are you gonna do,
dude? I can imagine you have to make such like terrible calls when you have a 45-minute set and you're like, okay, we have this whole catalog. Everyone loves all these games.
Right.
Like, which songs do we pick? And I feel bad for bands that have that, where like every song's a desirable song. So like, which ones do you pick? You know?
Yeah, it's a kill your babies situation. It's never fun. But then I guess we'll get to the special moment here. So they did some Skyrim stuff, and they brought out a couple special guests for a Skyrim song at the festival. We got Barbara from Empress, and we got is it Rave? Is that who this guy's name is? From
Rave.
From Rave Nuss?
Some guy actually said my name like just with all the letters as one word, so he just called me Rav Voltaire. He's like, yeah, his name is Rav Voltaire. I'm like,
that's kind of
yeah,
cool,
man.
huh?
That's I guess
Sure.
yeah. If you just read it out, pick out all the letters in between. Yeah. So I guess I can go into the secret stuff.
Go for it.
Leading up to everything, obviously, because I had actually met Barbara, Barbara Blackthorn from Empress. It's weird talking about your fiance as like just as a performer when you know someone so well. But anyway, so I met Barbara Blackthorn at Mad with Power last year, and like we hit it off, and it was a really wonderful time. And so with the festival coming up, I had planned on doing a proposal, and I had a few different plans, and this one just kind of made the most sense because it's like it's a year from when we had met, and it's at the festival that we had met. It was going to be on stage, which again, it's not just like like regular people get proposed to on a stage, and I'm just like, yeah, it's cool, but like, but like for singers, it's kind of more poignant because it's like this is where we are happiest and most ourselves, and so everything just kind of planned around together, worked out. But then Skyrim's also her favorite video game. So it's
there you go.
And like even better. And then, me being close with the Powerglove guys, I managed to get them in on it and be like, okay, and then, we're going to do this and you're going to put this in your set list and like all this different stuff. And they were super cool about it. Like, first of all, they didn't leak a single thing. They weren't doing like, funny winks or anything like, oh yeah, it's going to be a real special set. Like they played it totally cool as if nothing was happening. And we made it all work. So it was crazy at the end. Leading up to that moment, like I could remember every single detail, like it was now. But as soon as the song was done, I just kind of started rambling, and all I could think was, if I ramble too long, Ty will pull the plug in the middle of my proposal because the set will go on too long.
Oh, good old Ty.
So I'm like, I think I watched a couple videos from it, so that's the only reason I can remember how, because I kind of blacked out. Basically, it was such an exciting moment. And, so I was like, I'm gonna keep this short. I just have one question, and then I dropped down on one knee, and Barbara Blackthorn, will you make me the happiest metal singer on the planet? And she was so in shock. Like, normally it'd be like a resounding yes, and she was so in shock. She just kind of lightly nodded. Yeah. And so I just kind of lightly nodded back, and it's cute because it's us. It's very us, and how we communicate with each other. Like the whole like just a look, and we know what the other person's thinking. So it's it worked out perfectly, and everyone cheered, and it was great. And then right at that moment where I go to like give her a kiss, Basil ran out from behind the drum kit to like give us both a big hug and just smokes both of our heads together.
Yeah, that looked painful.
and we're just like, oh, okay. So now we're like full of emotions. She's in shock. Everything, the crowd's cheering, everything's going nuts, and like I just dropped the microphones on the floor. Like, let's get the fuck out of here. We just booked it from the backstage out the exit. Like, we need time to just like process what just happened. So it was a really beautiful moment, man. And I don't know, it just kind of added to everything that was going on in and around it. And it was really lovely. And, right now we're on tour together immediately following the festival. So we still haven't really had time to like celebrate it, because every day you're loading in, loading out, next city, next gig, all that kind of stuff. And but it's been really beautiful. And we know we'll like take the time to properly celebrate it and enjoy it and just really let it sink in. Like, holy shit, we're engaged.
Does that mean like the actual wedding or the honeymoon or something is going to be at Mad with Power next year? Just keep it running.
No. I mean, I think it'd be good because it'll be an easier reminder for me. It's like, oh yeah, like my engagement anniversary is coming up, Mad with Power. But we got some plans and stuff cooking up with that, and I don't know, I'll leak those when the time is right.
Fair enough.
Always scheming, always plotting.
Oh yes, the evil schemer, Rav. I love it. We'll get down to our headliner then, the 7 Spires. So I was stoked to finally see these guys get like a really big set. Like, they had quite a bit of time at Prague Power last year, but now they get to headline. They get hour and a half or whatever it is. As one of my like favorite bands coming up right now. This was an emotional set. So we get the emotions of like the hype from Powerglove, Rav proposing, and now we have Seven Spires doing their mixture of power metal and symphonic and blackened death and all the crazy shit that is that these guys do. I feel like the most emotional part of the set then being that Chris Dovis, the drummer for Seven Spires, is leaving the band. They announced this on stage. This is his last like day with the band, last show, which became like a very sad moment.
My heart is absolutely destroyed from that.
Right.
I've been looking
forward.
Like,
you can see like Adrian starts crying. I'm like, oh damn, now I'm crying. Like, I can't handle this.
We just hit like it became an emotional roller coaster because the moment with the Powerglove set when Rav does the thing, I was like on the chat like, oh my god, everyone, you need to tune in. Like, this is amazing. And everyone's like, what's going on? Just look, get it here. And then it's like, oh, this is so cool. Oh, now I'm gonna see the Seven Spires set, and I'm really looking forward to one day being able to finally see them live. And then it's like, I've been feeling during the start of the set like something is a bit off, and it's not the mix, you know.
We'll talk about mixes later. We'll talk about that later.
There's some kind of weird vibes going on. And then when she says that the drummer is actually leaving the band, and he's like, no, man, no, I want to see this band live, and you are already...
Fernando's about to cry right now just thinking about it.
Just remembering, like, why? Why do you pick so short?
We know why.
Yeah, I know. Like, obviously,
you got a much
bigger gig. It makes sense. Like, it's perfectly logical, but the heart is not logical. You know?
Yeah, it's bittersweet. Like, you want to see your friends succeed. You want to see them. Like, I love that. I'd love to see every friend of mine. You know, I'd want this to be the biggest podcast on Spotify and everything. But it's just like
I don't want that pressure, man.
But it's bittersweet when you see your friends succeed, but you know the sacrifices that have to be made in order to like for everyone to be able to continue doing what they do. So I thought it was very beautiful, and you're right. It was a weird mixture because like I'm still in shock that I'm like engaged, and then you know the Spires set is sad enough as it is because they play that sad goth metal.
Yeah,
and then you know
they hit you with the bury you and all that. It's like, oh, come
on, and then just the Dovis thing. I was just like, fuck, man, like there's just a McFlurry of emotions. It was pretty nuts.
Yeah, and like I talked to Dovis a bit at the Prague Power Afterparty last year. Our buddy Eric was like talking to him about like drumming and stuff, and it's like he's a nice guy. But yeah, it was a whole very sad. After like the thing was done, Adrian's like, oh, thank God we don't have to keep that a secret anymore. Which I can understand that aspect of it too.
Yeah, that's always hard because you're like, you obviously know in advance when everyone is like in an amicable place, but you need to keep it professionally secret for a little while, you know, so you don't get a lot of support while you're suffering this breakup, you could call it. Because we all know,
emotions are kind of like you have to do with it yourself.
Yeah, just for anyone that might not know, this is like the drummer of Seven Spires going to play into a bigger band. It's not like he got kicked or he's leaving because they hate each other. No, they're all friends. They all started music together. He just got a bigger band, and that conflicts with Seven Spires getting slightly bigger.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd call Testament better, but bigger. Yeah,
bigger,
better.
Yeah,
depends on your taste.
Bigger. It's bigger. That's the thing. Yeah. So one job will have to take precedence over the other, and we know that Seven Spires can probably find a really good drummer easily, but you know it's a bit.
But it won't be their friend
sad.
From college or whatever. You know.
Yeah. Like we've been following this band growing, and this show was like, at least from the videos that I've seen of other live shows, absolute peak performance for them so far. Mm-hmm. It's like it's such a good show, and it's like, oh, one part of this band is gonna change now.
Yeah, I'm glad they let him do another drum solo. I think it was even longer than the Prog Power one, but fuck it, take as long as you want there, bud.
Yeah, take your time, bud. It's funny when you talk about the emotions, because again, like hanging around with the bands and stuff before the festival and gearing up, you kind of notice something's up, but you just sort of. I thought it was me because I was cracking a bunch of Avantasia jokes, so I thought they just were pissed off at me that I was being a dick. But I'm sure there was more to it than that. But it's interesting because even Barbara was saying to me, she's like, "Yeah, like I noticed something's up. Like, what's up? Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah. I'm fine. Like everything's great." So when people are like holding something in, and they just want to get it out, it's really hard to just act normal, no matter how good of a performer you are. People that know you will see it in you, and then I think it made sense to everyone why. Spirits were like high, but not that high.
Yeah, they closed their set with their best song with "This God Is Dead," and they even had like the people from Shield of Wings come out and do like the choirs on that, which was really cool. Kind of brings the whole day full circle. But that song is just in itself like super emotional.
Yeah,
they had their bassist Pete doing Roy Khan's part on this one, which we were taking bets on like who would like do the guest vocals on that. It's like, oh, is it going to be Ty? Is it going to be fucking maybe Rav will do it now? Rav's probably busy. So yeah, just have the bassist do it. It's fine. He's no Roy Khan, but he did a fine job. But that man, like that is an emotional song and a hell of a way to end a very emotional evening.
Yeah. Hell of a day one. And you imagine as the festival host, like for the stream, I'm like, wow, like what a crazy day one. We still have a whole nother day to go. Like this is pretty insane. And what a way too, with like tripling the size and everything. It's like Ty knew exactly what he's like the maestro conducting the orchestra. Like he knew exactly what he was doing with building this. So props to him for kicking it off.
When I left the venue that night and I walked up to our buds, I was like, call me this god because I'm fucking dead, man. So, but I wasn't dead enough apparently because we have the after party. So there's like an unofficial, somewhat becoming official, but not really official after party that brews at the Indigo Hotel, like a block away from the venue. There's a big courtyard there with like a fire pit. So we were out there with like drinks and food and karaoke. Inevitably, this did lead to a noise complaint. It's bound to happen. But the hotel, they let us do like a small scale thing inside last year, and they let us all go into like the lobby corner restaurant area this year and just hang out till stupid late at night, drinking and hanging out, which is a very cool but unusual thing for a somewhat nice hotel to let us do. But hey, it made for a really fun like extra community event for the people who were staying there or staying up there. Had you heard about this at all, Rav? Or I'm guessing you were busy with other stuff.
No, dude. My immediate response after day one of like, because again, it's like 8 hours of hosting and running around and all that. Yeah. My immediate response is like, I'm going to the fuck home to go the fuck to sleep so that I can wake up the next day and do it all over again. Like I thought being on tour and like having to sing every night was a lot of work. It's just like 8 hours of streaming and being on camera and doing that multiple days in a row. That is probably the most like physically tiring thing that I've ever done. And it's super rewarding, but yeah, that's a true testament to like a professional's ability to hold their shit together and like not have a breakdown because they need to poop or because they're hungry or whatever and just keep it going for 8 hours a day.
Being on quote unquote in streamer mode, that'll take it out of you, I'm sure.
Well, it just sucks because there's a lot of friends. Like even you were coming up and like trying to talk to me. Like, man, I fucking love you. I am too busy to talk. Like I can't.
Yeah.
And it breaks my heart because you guys know me. I love being everyone's best friend and hanging out and just having a good time. So it was, man, it was a lot.
All right. Well, we'll hang out one of these times, maybe.
I think next year has higher probabilities, and I think we'll get to why on the day two. Segue.
Day two segue. What a segue into day two. This year, once again, featuring the metal Cheescurd Massacre at the farmers market down in Madison. It was much warmer this year, I thought. Luckily, we all have black shirts to keep us nice and cool. So that was no worries. As we all descend on the Capitol, the farmers market there in Madison, to eat a bunch of cheese curds and take a picture in front of the Capitol. With not a John Schaefer in sight, the jokes will not stop because it is always going to be funny.
I just love the idea that a bunch of like sweaty metal nerds consuming an assload of cheese and then just going to sweat and mosh at a metal festival. It's amazing. I think Ty just like hides air fresheners everywhere because I didn't smell anything once in the festival. So
the festival had great air conditioning and did not smell horrible. The Sylvia itself, I thought, was a very nice, like, modern venue. It had like phone charging places. It had like all the seats upstairs. It had all the arcade games just kind of around the corners. They had like an extra room up in the upstairs corner with like LAN setups for Quake and Halo. They had like a bunch of fighting games. It was a really fun setup they had.
Yeah, man, it was really nice.
They even had gacha machines and like an anime titty sticker machine. So it's like they're going all in on the nerd shit. That was kind of in the dark corner, but it was there. I saw it. You can't get away from me, Ty. I do wish the drinks were cheaper, but fuck it, it's a festival.
Yeah, it's fine. You're in a venue. The venue is gonna try to make money.
Do you think this is the time to talk about the mixing that we talked about, Fernando?
Yeah, so we had two different experiences. Obviously,
yes.
On on one side, the house mixing the actual live show. On the other side, the mixing for the stream. It was interesting sometimes, at least for me, within expectations. But there was some quick, furious typing at some point.
Because on the stream, I'm guessing like sometimes you like drop an instrument or a mic or something, right? Or like it'll be too much of one thing.
Basically, the first two bands of the first day, there was barely any bass guitar. It was very low. And usually, like maybe one guitar would be super loud, or the one microphone would be super loud. When we got to Seeker Pearl, there was no bass. Like it felt outright muted for a while, which was very striking because they had very involved bass in that trio. So we were like, hey, bass! Like I can see she's doing stuff and I can't hear anything. And everyone was like, blah, blah, blah. And then they fixed it, and it got progressively better. And for Seven Spires, it was that was a very good mix for the stream. There was only a couple issues that you probably heard too, which were the wireless microphones for the guests.
Yeah,
having some issues.
My experience being just at the festival is that it was extremely, I'd say, inconsistent. Where some bands sounded like flawless. Like later in the day, High Spirits I thought was perfect.
Yeah.
Greyhawk was very good. I think Wilderun was good. Whereas like some other bands like Shield of Wings, I mentioned having a live keyboardist. I don't think I heard the keyboards once in the mix. And then like Seven Spires was... Seven Spires and Powerglove in particular, they both just got like strangely loud, like even by American metal show performance standards. I think they were insanely loud. Or like I was talking to other people, it's like it just felt like a wall of sound of like you're getting a ton of the bass or a ton of the guitar. You're not really getting the nuance, especially as nuanced music as like Seven Spires. So it was odd. And then later in the fest, I think there were some issues with like guitars or mics cutting out. Like it was really sad when Lords came out and Ty's mic was not working. But still, yeah, if it's gonna happen to anyone, I guess it might be good for it to happen to him.
Well, it's interesting too because you think about the considerations. Like you have a house guy that's the festival front of house mixer guy is mixing all the bands, right? You know, unless they bring in someone specifically, kind of thing. So this individual's got to, like you get burnout basically, like your ears burn out.
Yeah,
it's no different than mixing at home or anywhere else. You stop hearing stuff the way that like most other people are hearing it. But then the other thing too is each band has their own setup, because not every, like if every band, and this is what I kind of imagine, if every band just showed up with their instruments but the amps were all the same or stuff like that, or at least something to that effect, I'm sure would get more consistency. But each band is showing up with their own like brain rig and like, oh, I got these cables that like send these things out. We don't have a bass player, so like that's actually just this laptop, so you need to like plug in this laptop as if it was a bass. And like these crew people and these front of house people are having to like adapt with what is it, 25 minutes notice to like do all this stuff and try to mix all these bands consistently. So I give them props for what they do, but I also think it's a part of the bands that like when you show up to play a festival, like I've been to major festivals and they're like, no, fuck you. Like you have your instrument, you plug in, you fucking play, let our guys do their thing. and obviously until you're like Nightwish or Epica, where you fly in 16,000 amps, and so it's interesting, man. It's interesting to see, but I think they navigated it really well. The part that sucked is, as the guy hosting the stream, I'm literally sitting there looking at chat, freaking out, and there's literally nothing I can do about it, because after all the mixing, one cable comes out to my laptop, plugs in, and like there's the mix, that's that one cable. And so it's really tough when people are like, Rav, like, turn up the bass. I'm like, what? That's
You're
not how
that guy.
This works. I'm not that.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
just
the worst
the
part.
Funny guy.
The messenger is the first one to get shot. That's
and it's funny because there's actually a TV monitor right next to the front of house guy, to be like, so he can actually see the feedback that's coming from the stream. So I think even he caught some things where he'd turn and look and see everyone freaking out about something, and then he would make adjustments and fix it. So it was very proactive on Ty's part. That was actually a really clever thing that I didn't think about.
Yeah, so that's something that I was interested in. Like, I didn't just in general, I was thinking, I assumed there would not be a separate mixing person for the stream. At times it felt like that there was a different mix being sent to the stream than to the live show, just based on chatting with people. But it never was really like, I'm not sure if there really is, because I know it would be really expensive just to add a whole other sound person with another mixer just to do the mix for the stream, which is not by people who actually pay tickets to go to, and not all of them will do the tips and all that. So I understand not doing that, but it would be amazing to have all that.
Yeah, it would be. I think the biggest thing though to remember too is that when you mix in a venue, like the number of bodies in a venue changes the sound, and so you have to adapt to how it's sounding right then and there. That's why sound checks are so funny. People do sound checks and you realize you kind of have to redo everything once 1,500 people pile in. It's a bit different. But then there's also the whole like stream sound and all this kind of stuff. Like I think it's cool, like you said, with the people that watching, like, yes, you're getting it for free. So like on one hand, like, shut the fuck up and just appreciate you're seeing it for free. But on the other hand, like, for me as a streamer, I love when people let me know when shit's not working. If something's wrong, I actually thoroughly enjoy it. And there's people that are shy. They're like, oh, I didn't want to say anything. Like, what? No, if you can't hear the vocalist, fucking say something. Like,
it's just find that balance, because we don't need to assassinate the presenter, but it's good to let them know maybe something you're not aware of just broke. Go check it out quickly.
It's funnier when people are like, oh, the like, this bass tone is shit. I'm like, talk to the bassist, man.
That's not
at that point you gotta talk to the musician that you like. It might not be anyone else's fault but theirs.
It seems like there's also a lot of variance with just where you're standing or sitting at the venue.
Oh, yeah.
Because like there were times where it's like, okay, I couldn't really hear Adrian that well, but then my friend sitting upstairs said, I can hear Adrian perfectly. Or like if I maybe I didn't hear the bass, or I didn't hear this one guitar, but if I stood over here, I would have heard the other guitar. Whereas Rav, you're always standing in the same place. Did it seem, I guess, more consistent between bands from your perspective, or was it just, it's just what happens?
I mean, it does, but it's also one of those things where, like, you guys know how busy I am, so there's pretty much like nonstop mixes and compositions and things blaring into my ears. So I don't let myself be a good judge of these things. I can tell when something's wrong. And don't get me wrong, anytime I notice anything wrong, before anyone said anything on stream, I'd run up to the front of house guy and be like, hey, this thing or that thing. There was interesting, like, even for example, with the wireless mic cutting out, they're like, why don't you just give them a wired mic and just let them do things? It's like, because that wireless mic runs into like the band's in-ear monitor system. So if you give them a mic that's working, everyone will be able to hear it except for the singer, except for the band, because it's not wired into their system. So it's all these little considerations that come in, and sometimes you just got to you learn to get comfortable with things with things going wrong. It's a strange position to be in, but I think even someone like Ty didn't notice, I think, because he could hear that his vocals were coming through in his ears, and meanwhile the whole crowd is just laughing because they're like, I guess this is like the alternate universe Lords of the Trident where the guitar player is the singer. And it actually worked out pretty well because he has a lot of backing vocals in that first song. So it was like very entertaining. Like we get the special karaoke cut of Lords of the Trident for the opener.
Or I think it was later on during one of the Unleash the Archer songs, like Britney's like in-ears were having issues or something. So she was like ended up being like off time, and it's just like pointing at the crowd to sing because like, oh fuck it, the crowd can handle this while I fix this.
Dude, you have to. You'll notice it when people like rip out their in-ears in the middle of a song or something. Yeah. It's you can only plan for things to go perfectly so much, and this is actually why I keep reminding bands of like there's no replacement for rehearsal. Like if you have your shit dialed in, you'll just fucking feel when it's right. You'll know where you're supposed to land, even if you can't hear a goddamn thing. And I picked that up from a lot of older musicians where they're like, what the hell's in-ear monitors? Amp on stage, and we played our music perfectly every night.
Yeah, like I don't want to like overly nitpick because like this is like we said, it's a hard fucking job. There's a lot of logistics, a lot of bullshit that can happen, and I am so appreciative of everybody doing everything to make this run as well as it does.
Yeah, this is all just on the spirit of making it better every year.
Yes, we all love this and want to be as good as it can be.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's why I tell people like if something's wrong, say something. That's not just in like life and morals, like even technical things. If something's wrong, say something. There's usually a reason why it's happening, and I like explaining that reason because then people are like, oh, I didn't think of that. You can't just hand him another microphone. It's good to know.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, let's stop our bitching, get into some cool stuff. Let's talk about Of Romulus, because it's not an American metal festival without Jason Ashcraft doing his thing now, is it? Oh boy. So Of Romulus is the totally not Helion Prime version, even though it's with Heather and Chelsea and Alex and the usual suspects. It's pretty much the same people. But anyway, this is their new project that's Star Trek themed, where they dress up as Romulans, who are very nice people with their pointy Roman space ears. And this is some really great stuff because they've only released 2 singles so far. And so I'm like, what the fuck is the show going to be? And it was a very good show. There's a lot of music that we haven't heard before that's, I think, was sounding fantastic. I'm really looking forward to this project. Heather does a great job, like, waving the flag around and being racist to all the damn Terrans there in the audience.
I really like the energy that they have because they clearly like the whole idea so much, and especially Heather. Like, you can tell, like, yeah, I wanted to do this. This is not just like we did the bingo of the roulette of let's choose what theme we're going to use from sci-fi. No. I want the pointy ears. This is of Romulus, and we're going to do this thing. And that's really great.
And I think the crowd got so hyped for these guys, too. Like, for an opening band, I felt like this had a lot more popping off than I'm used to seeing for a first band.
Well, and that was their debut, right? Like, that's their first time all being on stage together, at least in that project. And so it's really cool to see, like, the initial seed of a new project and just watch their first performance, and they're playing in front of 1,500 people. Like, it's a really cool feeling, and because you see that level of pro, and especially with Jason Ashcraft, like you said, he's got so many different, friends that he just kind of calls on every time he comes up with an idea. Basically, it must be nice where you can rely on those people to be like, this is maybe our first show as this project, but definitely not our first show as musicians. And so they absolutely crushed it. It was very fucking entertaining.
I think my favorite random detail about this festival is that before the day started, they were selling merch at their Romulus table, and just there were a few people there just hanging out. But then after that show, the line was literally across the venue, and they sold out of all their shit right away. It's like, oh, there's no more large and extra large shirts. Oh, pack it in, boys. we're done here. But yeah, it was great to see. At
a festival with a lot of cheese, you might want to pack larger sizes. So
exactly, we got big boys here, big boys who are crowd surfing when maybe they shouldn't be crowd surfing. But I guess that was later.
There's also a cool thing that they have only released 2 songs before the show, as far as I know. So 3 of the songs here are just the new things that nobody had heard before. So it's like, I really like this. I like listening to a band's material first as a live show. That I think that's really great, and that's the best way to actually show, hey, we can do this. Come see us again next time. Buy the album later. Really cool.
I liked when they had Ty come on as Captain Tiberius Kirk, doing his William Shatner impression. They played a Helium Prime song because fuck it, why not? Life Finds a Way is a banger. I'm happy to see it.
I was half expecting to have to go up and sing a Planeswalker song. I'm not gonna lie. Like again,
everyone
like
was
two of the four singers are together. I'm like, I always expect that he's just gonna tell me like 5 minutes before. It's like, hey, by the way, I brought this armor. Do you want to? So I'm always ready to go when it comes to Jason.
My conspiracy theory was that they were gonna get Planeswalker for the show because 3 of the 4 singers were already like there. So I guess Sozos was, I think, playing at another festival, so maybe it just wouldn't have been the same without him, though.
Sozos was busy being beautiful in front of 100,000 people.
Yeah,
having screaming. Sozos like the Elvis of metal now. Just women just freaking on, throwing their undergarments at him, and he's just the sweetest, most innocent guy in the world. He's like, oh, I think you dropped this, Miss. I think you dropped this.
Yeah, because like, when I met him at Hyperspace, it was like before he had really like done anything with Glory Hammer. He was a part of it, but only had like one song, so he wasn't getting like swarmed by people. He would just be sitting there and just like, that's fucking Sozos. And I had to go be normal around him. Whereas I'm glad to see he's getting much bigger now that Glory Hammer has an album out with him.
Yeah, no, he seems like he's been having a really good time. I actually had a long conversation with him just a couple days ago, and he's a really happy guy and has nothing but positive things to report from inside the camp. So to me, it's like this is part of in the spirit of what Ty embodies with his whole like new wave of nice metal buds.
Yeah,
I'm a fan of seeing good, kind people get the recognition they deserve and like get the opportunities they deserve. It's kind of high time that like we reward the people that are doing good in the scene and in the metal industry that versus like praising the shitty ones.
For sure. I was just happy to see like all the like the Good Vibes community stuff with all the guest vocals, which we even got to see a bit more with the next band, Graveshadow, because this was a band that Heather went to when she left Helium Prime and also left before their last album. But even then, she still went on to do one of the last song with Graveshadow at the end of their next set. This being another symphonic metal band from Sacramento area, which I also ran into these guys at the airport, which it's really fun to see other dudes with black shirts, long hair, and a bunch of guitar cases on a flight to Madison. Be like, I wonder what they're here for.
Yeah, it's like, no, we're going to the other Madison Power Metal Festival.
There's so many of them.
So many of them. That's fantastic, man. Like again, I got to watch their set. This is the second time seeing them because I saw them at Hyperspace earlier this year with hosting that one, and it's awesome too because like you get to know these bands a lot better after their first performance that you see them at. You see them interviewed the singer Rax, and she's a Twitch streamer as well. So it's like it was really cool getting to know them. So this time it was a lot more of the like, oh hey buddy, as opposed to the like, oh like nice to meet you, tell me about yourself. So it just kind of added more to the buds feeling of like, the niceness of it's enough to be in Wisconsin. Everyone's already nice. And then you add all the extra stuff on top. It was really cool.
For sure. It really gives everybody high spirits, you might say. As the next band was High Spirits, which is sort of like an older trad metal style band, but like a very uplifting style. These guys had played at Hell's Heroes, which I don't think I actually saw them when I was at Hell's Heroes because there's too many fucking bands at Hell's Heroes. But I was right up at front of the bar for these guys, and man, they put on a great show. Like these guys are in their 50s and they're super high energy. They're whipping their guitars around, standing on the edge of the stage, playing this just super positive music. I love at the end of the set they have this like a big thank you song. Thank you for being my friend, and it's just like, oh, we got all of our friends here. We're listening to the cool metal. This is such a fun show, and I really loved High Spirits.
I cracked a joke about like something about trad metal and white jeans, not knowing anything about like the visuals of this band because I just listened to the bands before.
Oh, God.
So then they all walked out in white jeans. I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna open the psychic hotline. I swear to God.
Well, so before they had their white jeans on, like their like bassist dude came out with these like incredibly short shorts, like from out of the fucking 70s. I'm like, oh God, is he gonna perform in those? And like, no, he switched to the white jeans with the black shirt. They're all color coordinated.
I love that. I loved the color coordination because it's not just the white jeans and the black t-shirts, but the guitars that have the half black, half white inverted, so it lines up to be completely in contrast with their clothes, and the two guitars are the same. And then the bass player has the red bass strap, so he can be like, you have the two guitars completely side by side, symmetrical with these colors, then the little red line at the middle, and everything. It looks so cool. So cool,
dude. Yeah, they crush, like, and it just super high energy, like really enjoying the set. And apparently the singer is like kind of like a ghost writer, like he's kind of responsible for writing a lot of the some of the hit metal songs that we know. So it's
nice.
Oh really?
It's yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Huh.
I always like knowing about that, because I think that songwriting, it's something that in the old school metalhead, it's like, oh, you're only a real band if you write your own songs in your garage, instead of really taking good songwriters, giving good songs to good performers, and making better art for everyone.
Well, that's like the old school like pop way of doing it, right?
Yeah, and
what do you mean old school, man?
It's current. It never went away.
Or the current way.
The only ones that were outside the norm were the metalheads, and some rockers. That's
yeah, we're like some of the last people still writing our own music. But no, I not to like delve too deep into this because we're talking about the festival, but I do love the idea. Like, if you have a friend that comes up with a really good song idea, but just isn't good at playing music or doesn't have a band, I would love it. Like, if I was famous, if I was more famous,
Mm-hmm.
like to the point where every song I put out was a hit, I would love if one of my buddies was like, hey man, I have a riff idea and I can't really play guitar worth shit, but like I have this idea. And if it was a good song idea, I'd be like, hell yeah, man. Like I'll put it out. I'll give you credit. I'll give you fucking 10% of whatever it makes. You'll make a shit ton of money. I get a song. Like, that'd be fucking awesome. That's like such a buds helping buds thing. I've written death metal songs. I can't release those in any of my bands. I would love if like Cryptopsy or something was like, hell yeah, we'll use it. Like, cool.
Yeah. So it's cool to hear about it from these guys. Also, their songs were really great. I really love this set. Great performers, great songs, great vibes. Even watching it through the stream. Love the high.
And they were super nice.
Yeah.
And they were super nice because they were backstage. At one point, obviously, we didn't touch it, but then Ty, you know, it was also my birthday that weekend. So Ty pulls me up in front of the stage and gets the whole festival to sing me happy birthday, and then hands me this giant fucking cake with just my ass on it. My giant Judas Priest back piece. And this is the problem. Everyone knows about the only Ravs. I send out pictures of my ass to my patrons. He fucking takes one and scans it and puts it on a cake. So the singer for High Spirits is like, do you mind if I have a piece of your ass? I'm like, no, please go ahead, man. Please, my ass is here for everyone.
You know, they always joke about like cake being another word for ass, and here it has been literally achieved, which is quite something.
It was pretty great just seeing all the bands like, it's like, oh man, your ass is really tasty.
You know, riff fast and eat ass. That's what we're here for.
Straight up.
And speaking of eating, this brings us into the next dinner break. Pretty much the same as the night before. You know, I went to the grocery store and just grabbed food and chilled in the hotel courtyard. Very pleasant vibes. But also during the dinner breaks, they also had the Magic the Gathering tournament going on because, you know, Jason and Magic the Gathering you can't get them away. So I think it was slightly better run this year than last year. I think last year was a bit of a mess. This year they had somewhat of an actual organized thing. They had like pre-made decks themed around all of the bands, which I thought was really cool. And our try-hard friend Zhao Wei managed to come in second place, farming the Commander casuals or whatever it is that they were doing.
Your try-hard friend Zhao Wei was also the only person to wipe the floor with me at Dance Dance Revolution. So I feel like
he only tries hard in everything in life. It's
there's no halfway with him.
He doesn't half-ass anything. But yeah, I'm glad that there's just more nerdy bullshit that happens at this festival, and it just happens because people want it to happen, and it's just it's all those little things that really add up to making this festival just like that cool hanging out fun environment that, like, I've been to a handful of other festivals and none of them feel quite this same way.
Yeah, it's really great that you can have this amazing festival with amazing bands that people want to see, and also all this other stuff around it that matches with basically the target demographic. Because, like, yeah, there's a little MTJ tournament, and yeah, there's a big portion of your audience that will want to try it out, and you tie it with the bands. So it's like this great synergy. You have the arcades, you have the pinball machines.
Oh, they had pinball tournament too. I forgot about that. Like they were giving out trophies for this stuff. So it's like they go in hard.
It's pretty insane.
I guess like we always joke like, oh yeah, metalheads are a bunch of nerds, and it's like, well, fucking capitalize on it,
yeah,
I guess.
Act on that knowledge, and this is the festival that's doing it.
This is a bit of a tangent, but like you always see like in movies or whatever, like the metalheads are like the big scary dudes. You don't usually see them represented as just like D&D nerds, which is why I liked the last season of Stranger Things, where they had a metalhead who was just a D&D nerd. Very, very good representative of our community, I think. But anyway, we got real big power metal to get into now. The last three bands of the evening, very, very power metal themed. You've probably seen them before because these guys are always somewhere doing shows. So next up, we got Seven Kingdoms, a band who I cannot get away from this year. This was the third time I've seen them this year alone, because they toured with Powerwolf and Rhapsody of Fire, which, you know, obviously those are great opportunities to tour with. Plus, they're playing Prague Power next month. I've seen Seven Kingdoms more than any other band as of my most recent count, and they always put on a really great show. Their guitarists, these massive dudes with just tons of great energy. I think they always just kind of fill that role perfectly.
Yeah, no, they're absolutely amazing. I mean, it's cool because they're the headliner on this tour that I'm on right now. So it's Seven Kingdoms, Empress, and then Osiren from my home city, actually from Calgary. So it's been really cool just taking the time to travel with them and see them perform night after night. And it always happens when you're on tour with the band. Like, you know their songs, they're your friends. But like it's cool to like not know all your friends' music, but by the end, like third or fourth day, you just know every word to every song, and you're just like, hell yeah. My friends are so talented, they're so good looking, like hell yeah, good. Glad to have, sexy power metal friends.
I love that the burger sleepers are still used on stage.
Yeah, those are iconic. She had like this fancy sparkly dress, and then the burger slippers. It's such a look. It's a vibe.
Yeah,
that's a power move, man. That's just like
yeah.
Fuck you. It's like you want every female to be fucking sexualized in heavy metal. It's like eat a burger. Fuck out of here. We're here to have a good time and fucking write riffs.
On the Rhapsody tour, Sabrina was like on crutches for the broken ankle while also performing and like handling props and stuff. It was incredibly impressive. So I'm happy she's not on crutches anymore.
Yeah,
I can tell you honestly, man, they're like one of the hardest working bands because like shit will go wrong and they will just roll with any punch they get. There was one show on this current tour that was canceled. They're like, hey, fuck it, hotel stream, and they're just like set it up, get it going, and just run a hotel stream. And it's things like that like shows you what a band is made of. Like even when things go wrong, you're like, we're gonna make the best of it and find a way to make things happen.
Yeah, it's really nice.
And of course, I will admit there were sound issues. It was the simplest thing. A cable got fucking like knocked loose and switched over or something, and just no one informed me. So I just walked back, business as usual, start the next band, and everyone's just freaking out. There's no sound. So it was that whole thing when you're expecting everything to go well, and then things get all fuckety on you last minute that you just kind of panic and find a way to fix things. And it worked out really well. Chat was really nice. I'm glad everyone was just like, yeah, like Rav saved the day. I'm like, oh, trying.
Yeah.
I liked when Seven Kingdoms had Ty come out with a wig and I think a not actually plugged in bass guitar, just as like a more fucking around vibes with the show.
Yeah. And it's funny because he did a cover of one of their songs. Like, he does his YouTube channel, he covers his friends' music and just like bring exposure to them and stuff. So he did it where because Seven Kingdoms does not have a bass player. So he's like, oh, it's the bass player that they left behind on tour one day and he's back. And, his name is Tim or something like that. And I don't know. It's all this funny stuff that it's just like, you see that these guys enjoy cooking up these antics together.
Yeah. And
it just adds to that friend vibe of like, yeah, these are bigger bands and they're doing things, like Seven Kingdoms toured with Powerwolf and Rhapsody and Windrose, but they're not above like doing silly fun shit with their friends. And that warms my heart. I wish more bands would do that.
Yeah, I love that.
And that brings us to the man himself taking to the stage with the titular Lords of the Trident.
Yes, these guys they can't keep getting away with it. They keep playing this festival
every single time.
Every time. But
something's fishy. it was funny in the lineup announcement video. I don't know if you guys saw it, but there was my co-host was actually part of it, and he was like, "Well, you know what's up with like the festival organizer's wife and the singer of Lords of the Tribe." I wonder if there were people that don't know that it's the same guy, and that's why it's funny. So they're seeing this and they're like, "Oh my god, I can't believe they just like aired their dirty laundry in the middle of the lineup announcement."
I want to say everyone there knows and gets it, or if they don't, they're gonna figure it out.
The video is on YouTube, so
yeah.
I'm waiting for like a metal injection article to come out, like scandal, man with power.
Oh my god.
It was really fun to see Lords on like a bigger stage because they have all their silly stage antics. I really loved Grant from Unleash the Archers coming out to like have a sword fight with Ty in the middle of the song.
Oh, dude, he actually like kicked his ass. He gave him a couple real blows. I think those guys like don't get a chance to rehearse their fight choreography, so Grant took a few good hits like right before he goes on stage.
Oh man.
Yeah, they also didn't light anything on fire. I'm guessing the Sylvie wouldn't let them do that, which
that makes sense.
Makes sense.
But they did still shoot off the confetti streamers for like their big song Figaro, and it's funny because for myself, like working in a venue of that size, if someone shoots fucking streamers and confetti and stuff that gets stuck in the rafters or like in the rigging for the lights.
Yeah.
Oh man, I've seen people tear in for less, and I was just waiting for Ty just to be like, yeah. He's like, I'm gonna have a long conversation for that one. That's for sure.
It's like that.
Well, and then like it's not just a confetti cannon; it's like a great sword that shoots confetti out of it.
But that's at best. That's just the extra cleaning fee. At best.
At best.
Yeah. Oh man, that's so insane.
I'm sure Ty's had the conversation, so I'm sure it'll probably be fine. Hopefully.
Map of Power 7 canceled over confetti fiasco.
dude, I would one time, like this was like 10 years ago, but playing a very small festival with some bands. We were playing Visual Kei, so it was J-Rock and that kind of thing. And the vocalist in my band was like, we should rent a rose cannon to shoot roses to the audience. And he mentioned it to the venue. And the dude at the venue just pointed to one of the wedges, one of the monitors, and it had roses stuck in the cone from the last band that did it. And he was like, no, not again.
Amazing.
The Lords debuted a new song that was, I think they said was Final Fantasy VI inspired, which definitely makes sense for the Final Fantasy VI inspired set. A really brutal song called To Kill a God that was sounding good. I always love it when new songs get debuted at stuff like this, which there's more of that to come as well.
Absolutely.
The big like ending, Lords always ends their shows with like their pirate song of Sailing the Middle Seas, and they just like brought like fucking everybody on stage to be a part of this, which I love to see. So it's like, oh, if you're a crew, if you're a band, just come out on stage and sing along with us, which just doubles down on the whole vibe of the fest.
Yeah, man. Nice metal buds all around.
And then we have, again from the Nice Metal Buds, the final band of the night, the main headliner, Unleash the Archers. There was something else for them, but we're going to talk about it just after this. Unleash the Archers. Everyone was really looking forward to this show. I know that a big portion of the audience of this festival are really big fans of Unleash the Archers. And it seemed like a really good show. I am not the biggest fan of Unleash the Archers. Everyone probably knows that. Everyone that listens to the show. But it was still a pretty good set.
I really love Unleash the Archers live. Like Grant and I forget their bassist's name, but like they're always running around the stage doing these like crazy high kicks. Unleash the Archers music has lots of whoas and big screams that I think just work really well in a live environment because you can have the whole crowd just yell and it just happens naturally. The whole fucking fest was like this band in particular, which is like infinite number of crowd surfers. It felt dangerous, and I just want to give like the biggest shout out to the Sylvie's like security staff who were grabbing all of these crowd surfers and like keeping everybody safe. The main security guy was like also went like handed out water in between songs to the people in the front, which kept me alive during this insane set that Unleash the Archers did.
Staff at the festival were ridiculously nice. Like, again, it's the Midwest, so I wouldn't expect anything else.
Yeah, and like Unleash the Archers, it was their first show in I think like a year and a half or something, because they went and had a baby and whatnot, and are working on another album, and I think they did a great job. Like, yeah, sure, there's some audio issues at the start, whatever. We worked past it, and it just what a way to end the night, especially with like they also did like a bring everybody on stage at the end of their set too. Like they had like Ty and Sabrina and all the other people who have been performing come up and just all singing along, and it was we talked about Seven Spires ending the first night really emotionally. This was very emotional, but in just a communal like, man, isn't everybody just coming together? This is just awesome. Type of way.
Yeah, it was really finishing the whole thing very high up for everyone, I think. Like, it was this wholesome resolution, hopes for the future. Everyone has good vibes, and we're all doing this together. And it's really great to see.
It leaves you feeling that, North American power metal is strong, man. It's an important thing. I speak about this with my fiance often, but like, it's not just about us and about what we want to do for music. Like, we want to see North American power metal blow up. We don't have to keep flying all these fucking bands from Europe. God damn it, we have a scene here, and it's amazing, and it's only going to get stronger. So I have a lot of high hopes. And you're right, Unleash the Archers was the perfect like anthem for the end of a glorious battle kind of thing. You feel hopeful for the future.
And our hope for the future is kicking off with the video and the bands for next year. It started with a mysterious newcomer called Glyph. What can you tell us about this, Rav?
I like just such an open-ended question to like one of the most emotional things that has been happening. It's like, okay, you just get engaged at the festival and have a birthday and all that. And meanwhile, also I'm like hiding more things. People were literally joking. It's like, oh, so no more like fun secrets for the weekend, right? And I just kind of wink and smile and keep it going. So yeah, it was amazing. I was lucky I had my fiance's support, just kind of keeping me calm and even just hanging out, because all the guys that were in Glyph, two of them were in Greyhawk. One of them is Jeff from Gatekeeper, good old Jeff Black.
Yeah.
So it's
we met him at the festival.
Yeah, so it was really cool to like finally all be in the same room together. But there was so many things we were trying to do, and again, I'm running around running the stream. I don't even have time to like hang out with my new bandmates. I'm finally meeting them, and all I want to do is just chill with them and have a good time, and I can't. So it was a little sad for me in one end, but then when we all walked up to the stage and we're ready to go. And the funniest part is Ty and I had cooked it up. I was supposed to walk out on stage while he was talking about the next year's lineup. And when I walk out there, kind of Kanye Westing the mic from him, he's going to be like, oh, Rav, you can't propose to me too. Like, I can't marry you. And it was all supposed to be, and then he just forgot because it's Ty. He just finished playing a set. He's been running a festival and everything. And so he just goes up and says a bunch of nice things, and here's next year's lineup. So we're all standing there ready to do this bit. And we're just like, oh shit, did he forget? Oh, no. And the video starts playing, and he walks off stage, and he sees us, and you see the look in his eyes. He's like, "Fuck! Like I forgot." And so we're there scheming while the video's playing. We're side stage. We're scheming on like, how do we make this work? We still got to do the thing and do the announcement. All the guys are here. So while that's going on, the video's playing, and I had designed this video idea with the between the band and Barbara and the guy Church Grimm that did the video. He does all the Ravenous animated videos, and we figured I would create like 8-bit pixel art versions of all the band members with like their names and what bands they're from, and then just bam, Glyph, space, sci-fi, sword and planet, like dragons in space kind of fucking metal. We want to do power metal bangers and all this kind of stuff, and yeah, man, that's where it all got birthed. And we've been planning this for a long time because we actually have 2 albums written and recorded, and it's just like we're sitting on this gold mine of amazing riffs and fun times, and we had to all keep our lips shut until that very moment. So it was very relieving to finally be able to talk about it. It's kind of the same way that Adrian said, like, fuck, this is so nice, I don't have to keep this in anymore. It was kind of like that with the bands. Like, I can finally talk about this band. I can talk about all the things that are going on, but we still want to leave like an element of mystery because there's a lot of exciting things on the horizon. And obviously our phones immediately start blowing up. People are just like, holy shit, what the fuck is this? Like, I had no idea. And we're very excited. We printed off a little 3-disc sampler that you could only get at the festival, was supposed to be the idea. We gave them out at the fest, and immediately just people picked us clean. And then, like, 2 days later, I see in the power metal subreddit people just, ripping the CD and sending the links to each other and stuff. And it actually made me very happy.
That's how
It
it's
made me
gonna
very
go.
happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it reminded me of 2000s power metal, where, like, you got this awesome album, and you're sharing it with your friends through Napster or LimeWire or whatever. And
Yeah.
it was a really good feeling to see people excited and enjoying it. And I don't know, man, it's one of those things where it's you see the rewards for all your hard work. So yeah, that's Glyph. It's Darren from Greyhawk, Rob from Greyhawk, and from Hjelvik, that awesome, like, Viking hardcore band from Norway. Myself and Jeff Black from Gatekeeper, and it's fucking nuts. There's a lot of shit happening in that camp right now. I can't tell you how many hours I
two
spend in the back
albums
of the band.
recorded already.
Yeah, we've just been on fire, just creating, mixing, right? And because everyone's so self-sufficient, we come up with a riff idea, and then by the time it hits each member, it's a full song by the time it gets back to whoever started it. So it's amazing, man. And I'm so excited to keep telling you guys more about it as it unfolds.
All right, we're looking forward to it. Maybe we'll have, like, the band on when like there's a proper full thing out, not just a little demo.
But by the time everyone is hearing this, you can check one of the songs already on Spotify. The Fight the Night should
That's
be
a banger
out there.
Big recommend.
Good banger. Go listen.
Hell yeah, border.
We will, looking at the rest of the bands on next year's lineup, we've got Celestial Wizard, the first of many, many mellow death bands, this time coming from Denver. Celestial Wizard had an album this year that was pretty good. I enjoyed listening to. I think they'll be cool to check out.
Yeah.
After that, we've got Dialith. Now, Dialith is one that I've really been looking forward to seeing. I put them on my suggestion list for Ty for years. They're a symphonic metal band from Connecticut, and, like, they're really fucking good. I've been looking forward to, like, more music from them, or for them to play Mad with Power. Like, that very night, they were playing, like, Maryland Folk Fest or something like that. So it's like, they're alive, they're kicking, and they're doing stuff, and I'm very excited to finally see them. Me and our buddy of mine were next to each other. We're both like, oh man, it'll be so cool if they announced Dialith. And then when they were announced, it's like, oh my god. So I don't think many people know them, but there were like 5 of us popping off in the audience, and that's all I needed. After Dialith, we have Starkill, a mellow death band from Chicago. I actually been following these guys for a while because they toured with Dragon Force a number of years ago, which first brought them to my attention. They've got solid stuff. I'm looking forward to checking them out in a live setting, because I actually missed that Dragon Force tour because reasons. So this will be a revenge tour for me on that.
Nice.
And after Starkill, next up was Vesuvian, another melodeath. There's a lot of melodeath at this next show. This is a band from Seattle that I am not familiar with, but I checked out their song in the music video, and it sounded good, and I will look forward to seeing them as well, because it's going to be an intense fucking festival next year.
Yeah, definitely. We have a video game band again, Lame Genie.
Yes, there's always got to be the video game band. There must always be a Lich King. There must always be a video game band. So this year is Lame Genie. So I saw some people bemoaning that, like, oh, is it a meme band because they have that video with Gilbert Gottfried. But I checked out their YouTube channel earlier today. It's pretty much just straightforward video game music being covered in heavy metal. And they covered a lot of cool games on there. They had fucking Xenoblade music, Pokemon music, Final Fantasy, Kirby music. So I think it'll be a fun show. I always like getting that video game stuff in there.
Yeah, it should be nice. Should be very nice. We have Winter Sea. I hope that's how you say it.
Yeah, Winter Sea, I think is how you'd say it. Another melodeath band, this time from Portland. I am not familiar with them, but I talked to a few people who are like, oh my god, I love Winter Sea. And so these guys are apparently going to be pretty hype. I checked out a bit of their music. It seems cool. I think they might be like the one to check out next year for, like, of all these melodeath bands. They were catching my eye. And then next up, because of course,
again,
the Lords,
the Lords again. I don't know, man. It's so many times the same band.
Maybe it'll be new music next year. Yeah. What I'm curious is, will Lords ever not play the second to last slot? Are they ever going to downgrade themselves again? Because they were headliners the first, like, 1 or 2 years. Will they ever be bumped down further, or are they always going to be at that same spot? Because I know they're always going to play the festival because, fuck it, they deserve to.
I think being second to headliner, it's a pretty decent move, because it's both
it works.
a high it's high billing, but it's also humble enough, and it makes you excited to see maybe another bigger band.
Yeah, and I think their theatrics kind of hype you up for the headliner too. So, you can keep getting away with this one. Fang.
We'll allow it.
Baron. Fine.
We have also Oceans of Slumber, which we have seen once.
This is a contentious pick for me.
Prog Power. I don't know if anyone listening heard our very old Prog Power episodes, but we took a nap during this band.
Yeah, like some people fucking love Oceans of Slumber. Yeah. Like in the crowd, like people were getting hyped for Oceans of Slumber when this came on the announcement video, and like I'm so happy for the people who enjoy them. I am so happy for Oceans of Slumber, the band, to have people that enjoy them. It did not click for me at Prog Power that year. It hasn't clicked for me listening to studio stuff. Maybe here's the plan. Next year, I'm gonna get some drinks. I'm gonna sit down. I'm just gonna vibe, and maybe I'll find the right way to enjoy. I
think
I want them to. Yeah. I want this to be a good experience.
Like, and I've listened to some of it at home, and it makes much more sense than at the venue.
Yeah, I think I went into it with the wrong mindset because I'm like, oh, power metal show. I want to get hype. I want to be going in, and that's just not what they do. That's not it. But people, so depending on the placement, it might be a good rest and take it all in.
Yeah,
have a drink vibe.
But we know a lot of people that absolutely love that they're gonna be there. So
yes,
that's great pick. Then we have Magic Sword, which is probably the most out there of all the bands announced.
They are not a metal band.
Yeah,
they're like a synth band. They had music featured in like Thor Ragnarok and Hotline Miami. Like it's good stuff.
Yeah,
I'm very curious how this is going to work with the festival. But fuck it.
Yeah, it's gonna be very interesting to see the crowd, because I think there is enough overlap. But you know, it's pretty out there for the context.
It is by far. I think it is the most out there pick of like any band I've seen at one of these.
Yeah,
which I'm sure Ty is aware of, and I think expanding beyond just power metal makes sense. Going beyond even like the broad scope of metal, I think is interesting. But if you're gonna do it, I think this is a decent way to do it.
Yeah,
and because you can tie it in with nerd properties like Hotline Miami and Thor, it's like, okay, we'll give you a pass.
Yeah, like honestly, the Hotline Miami 2 OST is really good. So at least I've heard these guys without knowing who it was. I just listened to the songs. It's pretty good. But, it's out there. The good thing is that the other band announced it's really in there for power metal, which is the actual most power metal band of all.
Yeah, so
the lineup.
Like this whole festival is like 2/3 of this is mellow death. The very first band with Glyph was power, like straight power metal. And then we come back around to the last band being like straight power metal or twinkly power metal, I guess. And let me tell you, like they had like this mysterious vibe on the video, and then like that little xylophone comes in, and like I was popping off at the xylophone.
Yeah,
like,
just at the xylophone, obviously, because
and like my buddy TJ was also popping off at the xylophone, but then like when it actually comes up with boom fellowship, then the whole crowd just loses it, and it's like, oh my god!
Yeah, like
fucking
finally.
People have been bugging Ty nonstop to bring fellowship over for Mad with Power. It's finally doing it. Oh my god!
It's been like how long have we all like mentioned it? Like from day one that we listened to.
Yes. So their EP was early 2020. I bugged Ty in person about them at Mad with Power 2021. So 2 years ago, we talked about it again after Hyperspace last year. So it's been a constant stream of Ty, get fellowship. And all right, well, the madman, he's finally doing it. Can't believe it. Crazy son of a bitch.
Amazing. Perfect.
Yeah, this I've seen a lot of comments on like the Reddit or YouTube post for the announcement, and it's like, well, shit, Fellowship's gonna be there. All right, I'm there. I'm doing it.
I'm packing right now.
Yeah, right. Like I time to do laundry and head back out to Madison, get some more beer. We'll go down to the Great Dane. We'll just be chilling until Fellowship gets there.
All right, so that's all we have for Mad with Power Fest 2023. We are looking forward to next year. It's very likely that we'll go. Maybe I'll even be able to attend, hopefully, because come on, I gotta go see Fellowship sometime.
Of course.
And they are
listen, you guys were talking about power metal in North America and all this kind of stuff, and this is the nice metal bud that Ty is. He is helping me plan a pseudo Canadian version. So we think we might be able to start making this thing grow a lot more and a lot quicker. So your guesses and your conspiracies were right. There is a festival cooking up in Canada. It'll be in the summer of next year, and hopefully we'll have you guys come out because bands don't need visas to play in Canada, which is the
really helps.
Oh man, yeah. I'm. You don't have to answer this question. I'm curious about Glyph getting visas to play. That might be weird.
We're doing everything legit. There's nothing. We're not trad meddling any of this. We're doing everything above board. We already have entertainment lawyers and stuff that we work with, and this band's going to blow up very quickly. And I feel like you guys will start seeing just why things are so hectic and chaotic on our end when you start seeing some of these announcements come out. So
gotcha.
That's absolutely great. And again, thank you, Rav, for being with us for this little review. Even though you are in the middle of a tour day when you're working, which is insane to me, but you did. I guess there's some of Ty Ravs in you. It's like you have some of that energy as well.
Yeah, he's the hustle sensei, and yeah, absolutely.
Hustle sensei.
Yeah, I absolutely adore you guys. Love you guys. Love the podcast. Love the crew. Love the Discord. We always make time for you guys. So thank you guys so much for having me on. Excited to keep doing that power metal thing. More Emerald Swirls.
More Emerald Swords.
Awesome. Thank everyone listening.
Cheers, Rav.
Stay powerful.
Stay powerful.
Guys. Later.
Thank you, Rav.